During Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, a teenage accuser was asked why she didn't speak out or fight back. Because, she said, she knew she was isolated. Here, in a mansion owned by Jeffrey Epstein, on an 8,000-acre ranch in the middle of the desert, isolated, she said, with just those two people. The photos of that palatial home in New Mexico now come marked with evidence labels, the property revealed in the trial as being central to the sex trafficking operation of Epstein, and Maxwell's role laid bare by those brought here, their experience of what went on beyond the gate of Zorro Ranch. And this is just one property in a global portfolio in which Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell could operate. Exclusive homes in New York and Florida and the Virgin Islands, where, as you can see, they could stay well away from the public gaze. And as the trial heard, the means to travel between them that also kept them in their own private world. Because behind the gates and the security cameras, Zorro Ranch has its own airstrip. Freedom of movement for Epstein and Maxwell and their guests here. The flight logs of Epstein's private jets revealed in the trial the world of the rich, famous and powerful in which they moved. With Maxwell at its heart, a who's who of politicians, power brokers and performers. None of those named in court were accused of any wrongdoing, but they demonstrated a couple with unrivaled connections. The lawyer for some of Epstein's accusers, ones whose allegations weren't heard during the trial, say it was Maxwell's presence that won the trust of those who became victims.
Mr. Epstein would have never been able to abuse the number of women that he did had it not been for the part that Ghislaine Maxwell played in that sexual pyramid. The wealth and influence that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell had throughout the world allowed them to continue on this path for as long as they did. The problems associated with their wealth and influence is that they were always given the benefit of the doubt in situations where questions should have clearly been raised.
All the many hundreds of people who have sent messages of support.
Those who know Ghislaine Maxwell point to her past and the death of her father, the disgraced tycoon Robert Maxwell, on his yacht 30 years ago.
She was very upset. She was crying about her daddy. She was obviously, a daddy's girl, the youngest.
Ken Lennox identified Robert Maxwell's body after his death. The death of Epstein, he believes, drove prosecutors to go after Ghislaine Maxwell.
They lost Jeffrey, and she was the next. There's no one else visible to punish for what happened to these girls. I think she was under the influence of a man who, in many ways, resembled her father.
Towards the end of Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, the jury was shown this video from inside the home in Palm Beach in Florida, where prosecutors say she and Jeffrey Epstein committed horrifying crimes. Their exclusive world is now no more. That house has been demolished. For many, the memories can never be erased. Greg Milam, Sky News.